Hi guys, are you up for another geeky episode? Hi guys, you already seen this beer 2 times when I wanted to showcase the DrHans Brewery glass in the 500 subs competition. But now it's time for the grain to glass with you. The idea was to brew something that maybe even my father can appreciate, and I also wanted to try out to brew with corn, so why not try making a cream ale? Okay, let's take this up to 70. Gonna use 2500 watts. That last digit is not showing. This is 2 kilos of Pilsner malt, 400 grams of wheat malt, 150 grams of Melodium malt, and 100 grams of dextrose malt. And this time we actually have some headspace here in the funnel. And to that we will add 1 kilo of corn, torrefied maize. And to dry this beer up, I will add 500 grams of dextrose at the end of the boil. That's the fermentable. So our strike water is up to 70 C. We're aiming for about 65. Let's add our grains. It ain't that much grain today. Okay, our grains are in. Let's start the circulation. So let's add some lactic acid, going with a full cap. This being a little smaller mash, but also there aren't that amount of specialty grains in this, so we have to come back and measure it in a bit to see where we are at, if we need to correct anything. Okay, I had some issues here with the mash getting stuck, so I'm gonna add some oat hulls to this to get better filter effect. Okay, gonna add some oat hulls now. Stir that in. This might take the temperature down a little bit. Okay. So I'm gonna give that a good stir. See if we can solve our problem. I should have added this at the beginning, but hey. So we're 15 minutes into the mash, and this is where I do my first pH test. I added a cap of lactic acid. Take the pH down, and we're about 5.3, 5.4 maybe, so we're great there. Okay, the addition of the rice hulls worked fine. We now have stable circulation. So let's have a look at our starter. It's a lovely yellow color. Let's give it a nose. It smells fruity, like the starter usually does. It smells really nice. Gonna try it. Yeah. Fruitiness, some hints of vanilla, which I often get in a starter. It's almost like a lemonade. And this should be fruity, as it has fermented at a really high temperature for this yeast. So this yeast should be fermented at between 14 and 18 degrees Celsius for that hybrid character. Could be fermented down to about 10 degrees if were to be used in a Pilsner or something like that. This is my first time using that yeast, but now it's in my yeast bank. So far so good. This smells really great and tastes like fruit juice. Maybe warm fermented, this could be a great IPA yeast. I don't know. This is really cold, I must say, because I cold crashed starter overnight. So I'm gonna let this sit to come up to room temp and see if we can find any flaws with it. Okay, about 76C now, so set the temp for 76 and 500 watts. I'm gonna let that go for about 10 minutes. Do a mash out. Gonna raise our grains up and then start sparging. This sparge water is now sitting at 80 degrees Celsius. Has a pH of 6. Okay, let's get sparging. I oversparge a bit, but I'm almost down to the line now, so I'm gonna take a pre-boil gravity. Pre-boil gravity at 1038, and that's 4 over, which may have that may of course be from doing such a long mash, as this was a part of another experiment. But I have no trouble with that, being a few points over. And this is of course before adding the sugar. Okay, we have been boiling now for about 20 minutes, and now it's time to do our first hop addition at 60 minutes, and this will be 20 grams of Brewer's Gold. Go in and let's start our clock for a 60-minute boil. We're boiling. The first hop addition has gone in. The sample I took from the starter has come up to temp. still smells really nice. Yeah, it ain't no problem with that. So, cheers. In goes 10 grams of sass hops. So the 15-minute mark are coming up. In goes 10 grams of sass and 10 grams of tetnang. Also we have some yeast nutrient and protafloc. And I'm also adding the 500 grams of dextrose. This moment I'm gonna pull some hot boiling wort into there and try to dissolve this. And this dextrose gonna help dry out this beer. Okay, let's add that in. And the hops. There goes the alarm for that. And the yeast nutrient, protafloc. The sugar took down the heat a bit, but will be up to a boil in a minute. We're at 5 minutes, so in goes 20 grams of sass and 20 grams of tetnang. Also took the insulation away. It's gonna hook up the cooling now to get ready for flame out. Okay, we're at flame out. Now every alarm is going off. I boiled for the last minute with the lid on to steam the lid. Now we're just gonna start the cooling phase. And this is water from the nearest lake, and I don't think it's that cold, this water today. But we will start with this water, and if I need I will switch over to the water from my own well. Another method of helping cooling it down is to keep the outside moist. This is star sand, but it doesn't have to be. And of course you can also stir it to further speed things along. So we're down to 90 already after just a minute, but it's the last degrees that takes the time. Okay. Been cooling for quite a while now. We're down to 23 degrees, so have gone quite okay. I'm gonna switch now using the water from my own well to get it cooled down. Okay, let's take the OG. Someone has obviously stolen my pipette because I can't find it. The OG is at almost 1050, 1049 and a half, something like that. We can see on the hydrometer there we're about 1050. We're down to 21C now, so I'm gonna start transferring. It will take ages to get it much cooler. It will cool down even further, a couple of degrees, it usually does, and then the fridge will take over. Transferring now. Beer temp is about 17 degrees. We're looking good. Almost at 22 now. Giving the beer a 1-minute blast with oxygen. I have decanted the starter and localized the stir bar. I'm gonna swirl the yeast up in suspension, every little last piece of it. Almost everything now. And just gonna pitch it, finally, after another long hard brew day. So in goes the yeast, San Francisco lager. That's a big ass starter going in. Now it's gonna take this down to the fridge and chill it down to 14°C, which we're gonna start our fermentation. The beer is in the fridge. Gonna cool this down now. Here you have the end result. It's as usual darker on camera. It's a golden colored or straw colored ale, crystal clear, as you see. Has a white head with a little bug on it. It has a tight white head, and the carbonation is pushing up that head through the glass. You can see some bubbles there. So let's go through the recipe if you want to try it out. And this is a 23-liter batch. I use 2 kilos of Pilsner, 1 kilos of corn, 400 grams of wheat malt, 150 grams of melodium malt, 100 grams of carapils, and 500 grams of corn sugar. I use 20 grams Brewer's Gold at 60 minutes, and 10 grams of Sass at 30 minutes, and 10 grams of Sass at 50 minutes, and 10 grams of Tettnang at 50 minutes as well, and at 5 minutes I used 20 grams of Sass and 20 grams of Tettnang. I mashed at 65°C. I had some issues there with a stuck sparge, so I added 300 grams of oat hulls, and then I did a mash out, about 75°C. I oversparged a little bit, so I boiled it about 80 minutes, but did not add any hops until 60 minutes. Pre-boil was 10:38 without the dextrose, which I added at the end of the boil. The OG with the dextrose ended up at 10:50, and then I chilled it down to about 16°C and started the fermentation fridge at 14°C beer temp. After 4 days I ramped 1°C every 12th hour, and at day 6 we were at 18°C, and we had an SG at 10:13. Day 7 at 21.3 Celsius, we have an SG at 10:08, and at day 8 at 22.2 C we still had an SG of 10:08. So I kegged it. It ended up with an ABV of 5.5%, or around that. So let's give it a nose. You can smell that Little sauce spice, some sweetness. And tap 9. Okay, let's dive in. It's very crisp. Clean. I do get some corn taste. It's a little bit sweet, even though it fermented out to 1008. It actually has quite a body, more than I expected. I actually thought it would ferment down even further, but it ended at 1008. Getting back on the subject with my father, I've bottled a few of this. Might send one of them out so you can have a second opinion on the beer. It's always good. I haven't heard anything from my father yet. Maybe he haven't tried it, or maybe he just didn't like it and didn't want to hurt my feelings. I actually think it turned out quite good. It is what it is. It's a cream ale, and sure tastes like a cream ale. I have tried a few at least. It's nothing fancy with it at all, but it's a clean lawnmower summer beer. What more can you say? And I think for those who don't enjoy hoppy beers and so on, could enjoy this for the lager fellas. So there you had it. That was the cream ale. Cheers guys, DrHans out.